Life, money, action.
Welcome to Small Change, Big Gains, the podcast where we explore how small, intentional decisions can lead to major results in your financial life and personal growth. Whether you're looking to invest smarter, develop better habits, or simply find balance, we'll learn together how minor shifts can make a big impact. Join us as we unravel experiences, explore practical tips, and hear inspiring stories. Let's make it happen, one small change at a time towards big gains.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we have a guest joining us, John Fortney, who is a sales representative with Harvey Kellis Real Estate here in Toronto. John, you've been at this for 35 years now?
Yes, can't believe it, 35 years.
And full disclosure, John sold me and my husband our first home, which is still our home.
And you're still happy customers.
We're still happy customers. Actually, the funny story with John, and I tell everybody, our clients have heard this story, is when you sold us our house, which, by the way, we didn't even want to go see.
Yes.
You called us. It was Canada Day long weekend. Said, you have to see this house. And we said, no. We're over it. We're tired of looking. He said, no. You must see the house. And we showed up and I said, this is it. I love it. Chris wasn't super convinced right away, but then he later got on board. But one of the things you said, I think we made a mistake. And I said, what's that? And John's like, I don't think you're ever going to move. I'm like, probably right. But that means you did a good job. You found us the best house, and it's been great.
Location.
But we definitely give your name out because it's hard to find good advice in real estate. And we work on the investment side of the equation. But assets, when we talk about assets with clients, real estate is a significant portion of a person's net worth.
Yep.
And so getting advice and proper advice is really, really important. We can't stress that enough. So we thought, why shouldn't we have somebody from real estate that knows what they're talking about? Because the topic today, which we wanted to pick your brain on, is downsizing. Right? So
Downsizing, I like to use the word transitioning rather than downsizing.
I would agree. Because I think it's changed, right? And I know, Sean, you and I have seen this.
I'm not ready to downsize.
Yeah, I know, you're not ready to downsize. But I think what we've seen in the past, the idea was we've had this house, it's a big house, fit our family in it, kids are gone. Now we're going to downsize into a smaller place. We're going to get a pocket of money. We're going to invest that. And then we're going to live off of that. This is kind of like a retirement nest egg. But we're not, depending on the market you're in, you might not see that.
Depending on the market and your lifestyle.
Right.
So there's two kinds in our downtown Toronto. We have two kinds of downsizers or transitioners.
Right.
One are the 905ers. So
right.
You have a 4 or 8 acre property with gates and 8-car garage, and you spend all day Saturday and Sunday mowing the lawn,
right.
Or you keep doing it. But and you've got this big spread, and now the kids are gone.
Yeah.
And you want to be close to the action. You want to leave King Street, Bay Street, come home in 20 minutes, change, and go out for dinner.
Right.
So you want to buy in the Annex, Rosedale, somewhere close to Yonge Street
right.
or downtown, and that's a lifestyle.
Right.
The other choice are people who want to leave a house and don't want to maintain anything, and they want to move to a condo.
Right.
And like you said, downsizing, and I've surprised a few clients when they first talked to me about, we're ready, and I did it myself in 2021.
Right.
People say, I'm going to sell my house, buy a condo, and pocket the money. And I say, I know your life, especially if they're clients that I've bought and sold for them over the years. I know their taste, I know their lifestyle. I'm thinking of one client in particular. They like new.
Yeah.
They do like size. And I said, I know what you wanted when you bought the house, which you got.
Yeah.
Now going for a condo, you're not going to go for 1,100 square feet or
right.
900 square feet. It's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
You are going to need something new and snazzy in a nice neighborhood. It's going to be a lateral.
Right.
You sell your house for $4 million, you're probably going to spend $4 million on the condo. You sell it for $2.5 million, you are probably going to spend $2.5 million on the condo.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing that, right? Like when we've done financial plans, that has been the case for the most part.
Well, John, is it more, okay, you're selling the house for $4 million. You could, if you wanted to, if you're willing to suppress your lifestyle in that transition, downsize to $1.5 million. But do you find there's one big surprise when client, like let's say a client one of your clients goes from this transition of 4 million to a downsize or a transition, a lower price home. What's the first thing they realize, or what's the largest thing they realize when they see the difference between the house they're moving out of and the condo they're moving into that is priced at a far lower price point than perhaps what they're selling at?
What do I do with all my stuff? It's
True.
You have to buy all new furniture, new art, because
Oh, right.
you're going from 2,500,
true.
3,000 square feet to 1,100.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a surprise. And you also have to go on the assumption that financially everything's the same, right? If they are, let's just say they're retiring and there's going to be a severe difference in income and they have to go smaller,
Right.
that's a true downsize.
Right.
But if it's just lifestyle, I don't want to cut grass anymore, I don't want to shovel the driveway,
Yeah.
I want that done for me, go to a condo. And you're going to Yorkville, there's some great buildings out there. In Rosedale, Forest Hill, even Yonge and York Mills.
Right.
It's quite often you're still going to spend a couple million or more.
Do you find your clients are surprised? Like, when they come to you and they're ready for this transition, are they aware of what that's going to look like, or what's that process look like for them?
Some are.
Yeah.
Others is a total surprise. Or you get one partner is totally, because they've probably done the research and they're the one who's leading the decision that we're ready.
Yeah.
And they know what the condos that they seem to be liking are costing. And the other partner is like, what? No. I thought we were going to put some money aside and spend a year in Italy.
Right.
That's not necessarily the case, especially when they see what the cost of what they like.
Yeah.
And you got to take them. Sometimes this is a long process. Maybe someone's just talking about it. So you take them out and show them some condos, even though they may not do this or they're 5 years away from doing this.
Yeah.
Just getting the mindset, what's out there, what does a 3,000 square foot condo, what's a 1,500 square foot condo, what's a new versus an old. That's your other topic.
Yeah.
Because the old ones, you get so much more for your money, but you got like lower ceilings, you usually have to renovate, higher maintenance fees, possible assessments, as they fix things.
Yeah.
So there's stories.
And so I assume part of your process is to educate client, like that's a good point, like talking about condo fees, right? If you're coming from a house to a condo, what are the things they should be looking at? And like, what does the process look like when they will come to you?
The most common thing people say to me is, I don't want to have to pay monthly.
Yeah.
That's just not right. I'm paying someone. I said, no, if you own a house, if you were smart, and most of us aren't, if you were smart, you'd be putting money aside in a slush fund. So when you need to replace the roof, replace the air conditioner, you want to repaint, repainting a house is not inexpensive.
Yeah. I know as I evaluate that.
So we should be having our own maintenance fund for the house, but we don't do it. We pay for it when it comes along.
Right.
When you're living communally, i.e. a condo, you have to make sure those money is there when you need it. So that's why, plus we have to pay for the concierge, property manager. And if you're in some of these bigger buildings, some of these really nice buildings, you have 5 concierge working all day. You have valet parking in some buildings.
Right.
That costs money.
Yeah.
Right. And the good ones are kept clean. You've got staff and you got to pay for it.
What's some of the trends you're seeing right now? Like, are people downsizing to the condo life because they want to travel? Is it purely because they want to save a pocket of money, or is it they want to be downtown? Like, what are some of the trends
downtown
you're
is
seeing?
so big.
Okay.
A lot of people, they come from 905 or even they just come from North York.
Okay.
They want to be more downtown.
Right.
You see a lot of empty nesters buying like the annex.
Okay.
Yeah. And they love the old houses and they fix. There's some. If you haven't been to the annex in a while, or Riverdale, and you've seen some of these beautiful old neighborhoods, so you can spend $6 million, south of Bloor Street in the annex quite easily.
Right.
They are really unbelievable houses. Oh. So they want the downtown life. That's definitely one. Because don't forget, if you're 60, it's the new 40, right? People are living much healthier lives, and they're ready for some fun. The kids are gone, and they want to go theater. They want to, as I said, come home from work in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, change your clothes and go out for dinner. Right. And I also have something called the cappuccino factor, where you want to be close enough that on Sunday you want to go to a local coffee shop Boxcar Social or something, and,
Right.
and read the New York Times or something, and have a cappuccino.
Right.
And it's not like in the suburbs. You get in the car, you have to drive to get a quart of milk.
Right. That's true.
So they want
That's
the downtown life,
Yeah.
right? The other thing is many people have other homes, a cottage, a house in Florida, or a house in the Caribbean or Spain or something.
Yeah.
So Toronto, the condo becomes sort of the Toronto. You drop off your bags. You're in Toronto when you're working. You go to the cottage when you want land and ground, and or you go south when it's cold.
Right. Makes sense.
Because it takes a lot to make. We found that we were maintaining the house,
That's a lot of work.
and we had these beautiful manicured gardens, but we were at the cottage all summer, and it really was time.
Right.
And a lot of people, you just hit that point.
Are you at that point yet, Sean?
No. But along those lines, like to me, the definition of an emotional asset is your personal
Oh, absolutely.
And the second best definition of an emotional asset is the home you're about to move into.
Yep.
Apart from what you already touched on, because I think what I'm getting to is price. Because I've heard this time and time again, you can't lose money in real estate.
Well, you can, any investment has a risk.
100%.
You must know that in
And I
your
always
business.
call real estate, I remember George Herbert Bush said 1,000 points of light. I look at real estate as 1,000 points of light. Each one's its own separate unit of sale.
Yeah.
It has esoteric value, has market value, and so forth.
Yeah.
But no one values it more than the person who's currently living it. Exactly. No one's going to be more trying to get a lower price on their second asset as they're transitioning from one asset to another than the person trying to move into the second house. When it comes to price and when the sale actually happens, what type is there an irrationality to the seller of a home, especially in that circumstance where they're looking to transition to a different lifestyle?
Sometimes, and especially, first off, all assets can increase in value and they can decrease in value.
100%.
Yeah.
And markets are what markets are.
Yeah.
So number one, you should buy and sell in the same market. But there's no guarantee. Historically, if you own a house for a minimum of 7 years, you will make money. Historically, that's what the stats
Yep.
have proven out.
Yep.
If you're buying and selling every 2 years, or you buy at the top of the market, then you renovate and then you try and sell, you're not going to make money.
Right.
Right. But then you add the emotional, and it's funny. I've had some of the most stalwart. I'm a business person. To me, it's just numbers. No, it's not. You raised your kids there. You painted that ridiculously purple room because you love that purple. Everyone else hated it, but you loved it.
Yeah.
Right. And when they're moving to the new place, you get that same emotional. Either they're comparing it to what they're leaving,
Right.
or they walk in and they're just eyes light up. Oh, this could be perfect.
Yeah.
Likewise, when you go to the next stage, I do a lot of transitioning people from their condo to senior care.
Okay. Yeah.
As a whole nother step
Right.
with its own set of emotions.
I
I've
bet,
done quite
I
a few.
bet.
In the last year, I've had a few of those. And it's another set, as you said, it's all emotional.
Right. That's
And it's-
totally true. It's
Well,
totally
that's
true.
maybe worth another conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, is there a revelation though when you're sitting with someone, you say, okay, you've lived here for X amount of years, you have the emotional attachment. You have to sit down and say, okay, this is the market we're in, and perhaps what we can expect to achieve on this side of the equation. But by the way, and this is prior to emotions getting involved, this is what you're looking at on the other side of the equation. When does it set into the client where financially their plans that they may have been working on, if they're properly planned over the last half a dozen years or even a dozen years, it's not quite working out the way they thought? When does that set in, and how does that change their decision making, if at all?
Well, first off, you have to frame things.
Mhm.
So if it's a lateral and what they're buying is almost the same, then you've still got that untaxable asset. So
Right.
that's still a good investment.
Right.
And you have to get them excited about what the next stage.
Right.
You can't for a moment start to think, oh my gosh, we are X age, kids are gone, life is slowing down, and you
Yeah.
can't go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Everything has to be exciting.
Yeah.
This is a new stage in your life,
Yeah.
and because I've had some people that if they're moving because they have to, You know, well, that's usually an older stage, but or they have to move out of town because they just can't afford Toronto. You have to. This is exciting. You're going to a new stage, and you have to sort of emphasize the excitement of the change and how great this place is going to be. What you put your
Well, I think you do a really good job at this, John. The advice you gave us at the time was, because I didn't know Toronto very well, and your comment was just park in a neighborhood and just pretend you were like doing your day. Where's the grocery store? Where's the post office? Where's the doctor's office? Just so that you can see what it looks like, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And maybe it opens your eyes to a neighborhood that you wouldn't have maybe considered. I thought that was excellent advice, and I know we did a lot of that, and I was like, oh well, I'm surprised, and now I walk everywhere, thank God. So it's we hardly use the car.
I had a couple. They were moving to Toronto. This is not transitioning, but their relocation company, the person that they got, one of the priorities for the husband was to be walking distance to the subway to come down Bay Street and work.
Yeah.
And the relocation company, the realtor they first had with them, was showing the Mississauga and Oakville. And
It's very different lifestyle.
this is a very high-ranking executive, and so the first time I took the wife out, I said, we're not going to look at a house. I'm just going to, they're from out of the country.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to drive you to different neighborhoods so you get a feel. So when we're looking at listings or you send me something, I can say, do you remember? That
Where's
was
that?
Lawrence Park. That was Rosedale.
Right.
This was Lawrence and Avenue Road, which we felt was too far away from the subway for you. And you spend more time than just getting the quick deal.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You have to spend time and get to know them.
Well, and to your point, to get excited about that next stage, but to also think about having the supports around. And I think that's why a lot of folks like downtown, because you've got the hospitals nearby, you've got the entertainment that you could get out to. So it does, you know, getting them to think instead of just the real estate, it's the lifestyle. And
Toronto's got a lot of parks and there's a lot of outside stuff too, right? So a lot of neighborhoods like where you are, you can be so close to ravines and nature and biking and hiking and walking, and a lot of people are looking for that too. So
No,
you've got to know the city.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we rely on people like you to make sure we're looking at all these angles and catching our blind spots, right?
So, John, I'm curious.
Yes.
You know, everyone at some point will look at a transition.
Yes.
It's lateral, downsizing. Maybe you want to live in a bigger space when you get older.
Right.
If this is going to happen to everybody, at what point or what stage, like how far before the actual transition occurs, should people start contemplating this change so that when it happens, it's as seamless and, let's say, you don't want to use the word unemotional.
Or disruptive.
It's disruptive.
Yeah.
It's at least disruptive on their lives as possible.
I think whenever you're at different moments, whether it be a change in job, retirement, or the kids have just now finished, they're not at home or they're going to be leaving soon. It's no different than you guys talking to people about potential for retirement or, you know, even though they're not thinking of retiring yet.
Yeah.
So have a conversation with a realtor who you trust and who knows. And like, I'm always sending you listings in your neighborhood.
I know.
I'm not going to move.
I know.
But
if I ever get the urge, I'm educated.
Get emotional.
I can get emotional. I'd change my mind and just move tomorrow.
It's never too soon to be educated.
That's
it doesn't
true.
mean you're
That's
going
smart.
to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And what happens too is this couples with their friends will be having conversations or they did the jump.
Right.
Right. So
yeah.
Do your investigation. Doesn't mean you're going to do it or you're not going to do it.
Well, and having somebody that knows what you're looking for, because it might not line up to your exact timeline, but what if the thing that you were looking for or will be looking for comes sooner than later? At least you've considered it.
I have a couple I just sold. It's not going to be finished for another 4 or 5 years. They're very good planners. They know that their house, after about 5 years, they just renovated it. They'll be ready. They'll be empty nesters, and they'll be ready. They're ready for a condo. And there's a whole set of new, unbelievable luxury condos going up in Toronto right now. They are unbelievable. There's some gorgeous ones.
Well, I think they're catering for the people that are leaving these homes.
Yes.
What we've seen and what our clients are, buying, we can see that it's targeting them, right? It's targeting their lifestyle, the amenities they're offering. If clients are traveling, you've got that peace of mind. That's
There's
what they're looking for.
There's one building right now. The opening opening price is 10 million.
Jeez.
The penthouse is 87 million.
Wow.
And if you want, there's vaults downstairs. So if you want,
That's where I'll stay.
That's my
the
room.
vaults start at $1 million. We'll go up to $2
Okay.
million.
Yeah.
And there's two strengths of vault. There's bank vault, and then there's oligarch vault.
Oh my God.
They're unbelievable. And this is going to be this building is going to be spectacular. And there's 5 or 6 other luxury buildings going up. Not quite that expensive.
Right. Right.
But your average buy is going to be anywhere from 3 to 8 million.
Well, that would be a heck of a downsized surprise. Guess what? We're going from this house to the 87 million.
But their house is going for 10 and 20 million.
Well, there you go.
30 million.
There you go.
So I got 2 questions. Like one, first off, I've always been a big believer when people tell me how much they've made in real estate, that they really didn't make that much. And the reason being is they don't fully cost it.
Yes.
You don't cost their utilities, you don't cost their property tax,
Renovations.
you don't cost their condo fees if applicable, and they certainly don't cost transaction, or they don't fully cost the transaction costs of moving from one home to another. From a percentage standpoint, like what would someone expect in Toronto, especially, because I think it's different where I live in Barrie, Ontario,
Yeah.
to move from one home to another home, whether it be a condo or otherwise. Just give me a sense of what the cost might be.
Well, depends on the state of your house.
Right.
I could walk in and go, you know what? You may need to paint your house.
Right.
There's $15,000 you didn't expect.
100%. I'm just talking about, I think a lot of people underestimate closing costs.
Closing costs, yes.
Like that's huge in Toronto.
Movers are huge.
Or is it
Yeah.
huge?
Yeah. Lawyers, not too bad. Lawyers actually
Find that more.
Yeah.
It's a little more than some costs.
Yeah.
Like in Toronto, you pay 2 land transfer taxes.
2 land transfer taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about 3.8% ish. It's a formula, which is ridiculous. So it roughly 3.8%.
Yeah.
So you buy a $4 million home, you're looking at paying $160,000 in taxes. Just out the door.
And back when a couple of years ago, when non-Canadians could buy,
Right.
there was a 25% foreign buyers tax.
Right. Right.
You know, so I had a listing for $7 million. It was $1 million foreign buyer tax.
Jeez. That's
So I think definitely when you're looking at transition, this speaks to kind of, how soon you should start contemplating all this.
Yes.
Look, have a real understanding what the costs are. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think my second question is, a lot of people that make these transitions have families, they have children.
Yes. At home.
Yeah, it's hard to transition when they haven't left. Maybe that's actually why some people do
30-year-old in the
transition. They
basement.
hope they push them out.
Circumstances where the children moved out.
Yeah.
Is it considered bad form just not to tell your children to just transition and then just end up somewhere and then
I've actually-
find out on their own down the road?
I've had that.
That happens.
You need to get your stuff. Mom and dad are moving to a 2-bedroom condo. Yeah.
And you're not going to fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
It's one way to launch them.
I've also suggested, I've had clients do that, and I said, well,
Also 30,000.
Yeah.
buy a 1-bedroom downstairs for your kid.
Yeah. We've
I've had
seen
people do that for the nanny. They bought $1 million condo for the nanny.
Really?
Yep.
Well, they're not in your house, I guess, right? So, yeah, makes sense. Well, we cover a lot of ground. So thank you, John. I think
very welcome.
this opened the eyes of anybody who's thinking of downsizing. To your point, think of it more as a transition. It may be a lateral move. So get advice in advance and
Well in advance.
talk to somebody who has good experience that can take you through the numbers to really understand the full costs associated with such a move. So,
Exactly.
well, thank you so much, John.
My pleasure. Thank you.